Over a year in the making, one man has ranted and raved with himself in endless debate over one movie. One overhyped movie. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Doomasect, a connoisseur of kaiju information, and this is my beef with Godzilla 2014. Warning, this video contains a lot of very bad language of the English kind. It's also going to have lots and lots of negative opinions directed towards certain kinds of people. If at any point in this movie you find yourself offended, congratulations, you're one of those kinds of people. Okay, now we've got a lot to talk about before we can even get into this movie, because we have to start off talking about the very special kind of idiot this movie has brought out. We're going to start this off with the people I refer to as anti-fanboys. Now, obviously, they don't apply only to this movie, but I've noticed them and I'm going to talk about them. These are people who, for one reason or another, get into massive arguments with fanboys, usually ending in the phrase of fucking fanboys, usually complemented by a few more insults. Now, I am a fanboy. I've seen all of the Godzilla movies at least twice, and this is the thing you need to realize when you argue with a fanboy. Are you paying attention? Good, because you're arguing with the motherfucking expert on the goddamn subject that you're currently arguing about, you dumb little shits. Motherfucking sage advice is being dropped right now. Don't come into an argument when you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Moving along, we have another type of person we need to talk about. And these are the real pretentious sumbitches. I took one semester of some film class and spend 3 hours a day on TV tropes, and I will eventually write a book that'll be the most goddamn boring thing anyone has ever read, because I'd have a stick up my ass and have no sense of goddamn fun, people. And since that's a really long name, we're just simply gonna call them cinema people. So I've been told multiple times I clearly have no sense of cinema, which obviously must be true because I thought Pacific Rim was a way better goddamn movie than this. Now, I want you to pay close attention to this, because this is the thing. I'm not a cinema person. I'm not watching this movie because I like movies. I'm watching this movie because I like giant monsters. Also, this movie has a awful sense of pacing, and it's made a lot of dumb choices. And if you like these dumb choices, then guess what? Clearly you're the one with the fucked up choice in cinema, not me. Into the movie. Now, first and foremost, a good portion of the beginning of this movie, doesn't need to exist. By the way, spoiler alerts. So, for the first part of this movie, we're meeting our main character and his father, who are planning to sneak into this irradiated city because Dad's trying to prove a point, his wife didn't die in an accident, someone's trying to cover something up, and the prom is tomorrow. Two big issues here. One, when our main character gets to Japan, his father's been in prison for trespassing in said irradiated city. However, they later sneak back into the city and are found, and they're arrested, and they get taken to the facility where one of the said giant monsters is being held. Why didn't we do this in the first place? This is my issue. Why did we need to do any of this? Dad could have simply been captured, taken to said facility, and when the main character gets to Japan, they could have just taken him to the facility as well. Why would they do that, you ask? Well, I don't know, make up some BS that's more believable than this dude in the US Armed Forces risking his entire future to sneak into a restricted zone in a foreign country. Father-son time. This is what this movie was trying to do with this time. Build up this relationship. So the first time you watch it, you're not going to be mad at this part of the movie, for good reason. There's some real deep shit in it. Bryan Cranston, who plays the dad, really has some powerhouse acting. It's very emotional. In fact, his character is really well written. And then they kill him. Now, I've seen this done plenty of times. Very rarely have I seen it done so badly. Like, when the dad dies, I was like, they're joking, right? I mean, he's gonna be back, and he's not actually dead. Now, this isn't denial in my part, like, oh my god, they killed off this character, I can't believe it, I really liked him. This wasn't denial at all. This was like, oh hey man, how's your week going? Oh well, my dad died, but hey, they announced Fallout 4, so yeah, I'm fucking pumped. They gloss over the entire thing. Now finally, we can actually move on to the half of the movie that anyone ever cared about seeing in the first place. The movie didn't contain enough monster footage. A lot of people have come to the defense of this, saying, all Godzilla movies show more people than they do monsters. Very, very true. That's also not what I said. Proportion of the length of this movie, we don't get to see enough monsters on the screen. Godzilla's total screen time is just under 10 minutes. By the way, there's also another portion of people out there going, haha, now you know how Orga feels. The movie was called Godzilla 2000, not Orga 2000. This is a problem. I know there's a few other movies out there that have done similar things, like in Jurassic Park, the original, there's only about 15 minutes of dinosaurs on screen. However, the movie's paced very well. Another movie this has been compared to is Jaws, and this is my problem with comparing Godzilla to either of these movies. Both of those movies are monster movies. Godzilla is a movie that features a monster, but it's a kaiju movie. The overall point I'm getting at here is said monster movies like Jurassic Park and Jaws are part horror movie. Godzilla isn't. Not only that, but I have a huge issue with this. You have my second favorite Godzilla design of all time. It's also been 10 years since we had a Godzilla film. And when you slap the name Godzilla on a movie and hype it to all hell like they did, your movie needs to have more than 10 minutes of goddamn Godzilla in it. Now, I'm all down for the big, epic reveal, but this would be like if they made an Iron Man movie, and Iron Man / Tony Stark was only in the movie for like 10 minutes. What I'm getting at is it would suck. And actually, this isn't the biggest problem with the movie. Remember back when we talked about pacing? This movie teases you. Now, allow me to explain the point of this. The movie is about to show you something you want to see. In this case, giant monsters fighting. But right before the fight, they cut away to something else. The movie does this several times. The overall point of this is to build up this tension. The movie is trying to say, no, not yet. The ending battle is going to be so awesome. You're going to make a mess in your pants. It's going to be that amazing. And the common issue I found with teasing is it puts you on a lot of highs and lows. It's building up to something, and this is generally where we can find the people that did and didn't like this movie, because when the end came, there was a group that in fact did make the mess in their pants, and then there's the other group that were left extremely unsatisfied with what our ending product was. Now, I lost my shit at 2 points in this movie. The first is when Godzilla finally uses his atomic breath. And unfortunately, that scene wasn't as good after the first time I saw it, because I realized, holy shit, they nerfed the hell out of Godzilla's atomic breath. The second part is when Godzilla deals the final blow to the female Muto, which is so freaking awesome. It is undoubtedly one of my favorite death scenes in any kaiju film, which it damn well needs to be, because the way they kill the male Muto is awful. Seriously, when I went to see this movie in theaters, were people laughing when Godzilla slammed his tail into the Muto, killing it. I, for one, was not laughing. I was slowly dying on the inside. You've taken one of the coolest designed monsters and given it one of the most pitiful death scenes I've ever seen. Now, I know Godzilla's rather large. He's usually wrongly depicted as green, because for some reason green looks a lot like charcoal, I guess. But what I'm getting at is insert Jolly Green Giant joke here, guys. I'm so glad that we had a super nice Godzilla for this movie. Like, Hanna-Barbera Godzilla has more of a mean bone in his body. Gamera is looking at Legendary's Godzilla like, yo bro, back off. This being good guy shit is my turf. Godzilla walks through streets, and people on buildings are shooting at him, and he ain't doing anything. But he's hunting. his hide's too thick to feel their bullets. Okay, both good points. I'm not saying he needs to turn and nuke the bastards. I'm simply saying a tail slap into the building, killing everyone, would have sufficed. At one point in this movie, super nice, polite Godzilla stops just before he runs into some boats, which is real damn nice of him. At another point, he allows other boats to follow along very, very close to him. The point I'm getting at is that this is Godzilla, a creature that in any other movie would have rammed the fuck out of the boats, he would have sunk the other boats, and he would have torched every damn car on that bridge with every kid inside of it. So now guys, this is where my rant's coming to an end. If you've stuck around for the full ride, much appreciated. As much as I did slam this movie, I do want to say it's not like it's the worst thing ever. It's honestly not even the worst Godzilla movie, and no, I'm not counting the 98 one that we all want to forget about. It isn't even the first Godzilla movie that's disappointed me to all hell. In fact, if the past is an indicator, sure as shit isn't gonna be the last. This movie clearly didn't rate very highly on my list of Godzilla movies, and the best I can actually hope for is that the people that did go to see this movie wanted to seek out older Godzilla films and kaiju films in general, and eventually become fanboys themselves. In the next 3 years, we're going to have Godzilla comics, Pacific Rim 2, and 2 more Godzilla movies to look forward to, and I'm honestly hoping that we're experiencing the next kaiju boom, that we're going to start seeing more giant monster-related things. And until next time, this has been Doomasect. Watch out for bears.